It was a co-production between MRT and UMass Lowell because they have the Kerouac Literary Festival. Mm-hmm. But we did the production, and we got a review in Rolling. The coolest thing for me, we got a review in Rolling Stone, and It doesn't get any better. I mean, a little better, but yeah. I mean, that's an old-fashioned magazine by now. But when I was in college, it was just starting.
Yeah, I still get it. You know?
Yeah. So that was a great project, an intense 10 days. I try to read a play a day. Yeah. Is my goal. I don't always succeed because other things get in the way. But so that would be somewhere around 300. Some are well known. You know, I need to reread them anyway. If it's Arthur Miller's The Price, or David Mamet's Glengarry Glen Ross. But I'll also read a lot of recent and new manuscripts that are still in manuscript. Mostly what I read are things that are still in manuscript form. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, I get them electronically these days, which is great. But I only deal with New York literary agents and recommendations from directors or other people I know, and that still gives me more than I can handle in a given year. And it's often hard to find something really great. I mean, a lot get tossed aside. I don't read that many for my health. I read it because you sort of have to read that many to come up with 7 that every year that work.
And what are you looking for?
Well, what I'm really looking for is to something really just excite me, the way that Breaking Bad excites me. You want to read a script and go, wow, damn, that's great. And that doesn't happen all that often. Then I'm looking for variety in tone and content and style over the course of a season. So if I have too many sort of dark comedies, I can only do 1 or 2 of them. I can't, So there's got to be something. But really, it's the quality of the writing. I'm just looking for really great writing.
Or with this upcoming season?
It's hard to trying to say which is your favorite child. I am excited about opening with God of Carnage, even though it was done a couple years ago in Boston. So most of our audience actually doesn't go into Boston on a regular basis to see theater. They really, we are their theater, which is their home theater. God of Carnage is a fantastic piece, just about civility and incivility in society, all taken down in a metaphor of 2 couples, 2 sets of parents whose children had a fight on the playground, and they meet to try to work out who's going to apologize to whom. And they try to do it as civilly as possible, and then the natural brutality of being human breaks into this very kind of well-balanced household, and it's very funny and very true, actually. And the second one, Stella and Lou, is a brand new, third one actually, Stella and Lou is the first one I'm directing. And it's just a really nice 2-character romance, and which Will LeBeau, who was in Glengarry and is a well-known actor in Boston, is going to come back and do that for me, so I'm looking forward to that. The American History Abridged, so they have now turned their attention to the history of comedy, again, in 90 minutes. It's their same style, but they always have a fresh take on it. I think of them as sort of Monty Python-esque, which means sort of smart sophomoric humor. Some of it's really silly, but there's always a literate base to it. They use just phrases and connections that you have to get if you're gonna enjoy it. Mm-hmm. And our audience seems to like seeing them once every few years. So they have a new project. They call me up, and I say, sure, I'd love to have you come back. So. That's the exception that proves the rule, because that's a company that comes in. Otherwise, we build everything from the ground up here. Mm-hmm. We rehearse it here, we design it, it's built, so every show is created except for one like that.
How do you evaluate yourself as the theater after each season?
I'm my own toughest critic, I'll tell you that much. I'm tougher than any reviewer, any audience member, any board member. So if something goes on my personal best list, or I keep a very tight look at that. I don't want to put anything down, but I would say only Glengarry really makes my own personal best list this year. Other things are excellent, very good, whatever, but 1 or 2 things are off for me. Like I said, I'm a tougher critic than our audience is, or any reviewer. They're so big. Yeah. But I mean, there are great American plays I can't do because they have too many characters in them. Like Death of a Salesman, it's ridiculous. We should be able to do Death of a Salesman,
Yeah.
and it's actually too expensive for us.
Yeah.
So that's where the growth needs to happen, is our ability to expand the work that we can present our audience, and therefore the complexity of the work, because literally the more people you have on stage, often the more complex the issues are, the human issues, the political issues, the social issues that make up a play. The experience of coming into this space and wanting to, you have to drive, you have to park, I mean, you know, it's a lot of demands that you place on people. So if we don't re-engage the reasons for that each and every time, then we're going to start going the way of the dinosaur, you know. Like 60% capacity. So we have a lot of seats to sell single tickets to. Well, that's what Elizabeth is going to lead us in, figuring out how to, again, now that the big stuff is out of the way, what do we do? How do we do what we do but better? I know there are just scores of people out there who, for whatever reason, just haven't been here yet or don't know us yet. We certainly have gotten our share of the Ernie Awards, et cetera, so that gets us out there. But we're tied also with Lowell. You know, as Lowell develops, we're hand in hand with Lowell's development. If people think of Lowell as sort of dark and dangerous, then, and there are people out there who live 10 miles away who still do, you know that, right?